Well, welcome once again to the Friday Devotional. John Miller here. And I have another book to promote, and this is one you may be familiar with, but this is called Parenting by Paul David Tripp, and it is excellent. So if you're raising children or you have kids who are raising children, this is a good book to give them to read gospel principles that can radically change your family. So I love Paul David Tripp and whatever he writes. I used to go to the Christian Counseling and Educational Foundation when we, I'd go from here every summer to go to that seminar in San Diego. It's kind of loosely connected with Westminster Seminary in Escondido, and get great people like Jay Adams and back in the day, and then Paul David Tripp later on, his brother as well, and some great information on how to do biblical counseling. Well, today I want to enter into a new series on the book of Proverbs, and I'm going to give you some wisdom from the book of Proverbs, various verses that kind of speak to us. You know, a proverb is it's a saying that conveys a specific truth in a pointed and profound way. So these are short sentences based on long experience. I mean, Solomon was given supernatural wisdom from Almighty God, and he wrote much of Proverbs. So we need to take these words seriously. They're inspired by God. They're a cause for, they produce wise thinking in us. And so we want to just kind of look at these a little bit, just snippets every Friday for a while. So today, I want us to look at three verses that connect in their meaning here and what they're trying to get across. Are you ready? And you can write these down if you'd like. But the first one is from Proverbs 17:1, where it says, "Better is a dry morsel and quietness with it than a house full of feasting with strife." Better is a dry morsel and quietness with it than a house full of feasting with strife. Proverbs 16:8. "Better is a little with righteousness than great income with injustice." And thirdly, Proverbs 15:17, "Better is a dish of vegetables where love is than a fattened ox served with hatred." So each of these proverbs deal with the same thing. We're talking about a home that you and I have grown up in, or maybe the home we're in right now, is there quietness? Is there righteousness? Is there love? Because all of these are tied with prosperity and having plenty. And the wisdom of Solomon is just saying, you know, if you don't have much, but you have quietness and righteousness and love, then you have what you need. It's much better than a house full of feasting with conflict, or a house with great income and yet there is injustice, or a home where there is plenty of food, all kinds of anything you want to eat, but again, there's hatred involved. So it's just this idea, and I know some of us have come from backgrounds where we didn't have a lot, but what we had, we appreciated, we cherished. There's something about, in our day, having all the things we need and want, taking it for granted, and perhaps not being appreciative and grateful and thankful, having a lot of accoutrements and a lot of things doesn't produce in itself happiness or quietness or love. And yet, we are taught in our society, in this, the kingdom of the world, that things can bring us peace and quietness, and it can bring us things that it was never designed to give. So I think it causes us to reflect back on our perhaps early years, if that was your experience when you didn't have much, but appreciate what you have. But it might cause us to reflect on where we are right now in perhaps trying to gain possessions or to earn enough money for retirement. And that is such a driving goal of our life that we're missing out on the quietness and the contentment and the happiness and the love that was meant to be experienced in our home, and that we need to kind of relook at what is our motive, what is driving us today, and are we too consumed with obtaining things that we're missing out on developing deeper relationships with family and members of our family. So there's just some thoughts there with regard. You can get other ideas out of these three passages, I think, but these are some thoughts that came to my mind. So again, next week we'll hit another passage in Proverbs, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.